Welcome to Beyond IPAs. Tonight we're going to talk beer trading with our beer trading expert, Jeff Krula, and learn about beer trading and all the work that goes into that and all the, the fun and the sport of the hunt of trading beers and learn all about that whole world because I'm ignorant of it. So I'm looking forward to this. But let's go around the table as we do. We're actually starting off with beers that Jeff has gotten for us in trade. So I think these are like when we say West Coast beers, they are actually from the West Coast, right? Not
Cali
a style.
Cali beers.
Yeah. So I've got a Humble Sea Brewing, and we'll talk about these later on too, Jeff. So, but this is a double dry hopped West Coast double IPA, 8.2%. Never heard of Humble Sea, but
they just did a collab with Vitamin C.
Oh, all right. The C's getting together. So we'll see how this is. Crack this now. Brian, what do you got?
I have, and thank you, Jeff, for the generosity. I have Farmed Fresh, which is a hazy double, brewed by Slice Beer Company in a collaboration with Hop Butcher, which I think everyone on this podcast is familiar with. Hop Butcher. They do wonderful things out of Chicago, out of Illinois. Chicago it is, right, Jeff?
Yeah.
Hop Butcher's out of Chicago. We see them occasionally. Great brewery. So we're going to crack this tonight. Dan, what do you have, Dan, tonight?
So I have Contains No Juice, a double IPA from Alvarado Street Brewing in California. I'm assuming the Contains No Juice is a little bit misleading of a name, but we'll find out.
Adjunct. And Jeff, what do you got?
I got, which I had already opened prematurely, sorry. It's Extra Toppings Double Dry Hop Hazy Double IPA. It's a collaboration done by Slice and Cellar Maker, both out of California. So, Slice is just one of those newer breweries out west that's about a year old. So the Farm Fresh that Brian has, and then this one that I'm having, the Extra Toppings, are part of their 1-year anniversary release. Okay. So they just did a few collaborations, I think. So this one's really good, and I had that one that Brian is having now, and that one I really enjoyed that one.
Yeah.
So let me know what you guys think.
Oh, the Just Fog and Vote it's excellent, fantastic.
Well, that's it. I didn't have that one. So it's saying it's the West Coast. Is it like a West Coast IPA? You think?
No, not really. Not really. Fused with Citra, Nelson, Simcoe, and Mosaic.
Yeah.
But it's I would call this an East Coast if I didn't know any better. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, mine's double dry hop Nelson Strata hops.
Yep.
So, Jeff, this is, again, I appreciate you doling these out to the boys here tonight. So the first question I have for you, to talk about, how you get connected with someone on the West Coast. Just, I know you're, on Instagram, you're on our Facebook page, you've made connections, and I'd love to dive into kind of how does one get started in beer trading, right? I mean, I love the hunt. I love the next big beer. I love understanding what brewers are doing all over the country. I'm just leery of trading. I haven't got into it yet. I'll receive trades, but I don't send them.
That's not trading.
Exactly. Well, it's trading for other currency.
Oh boy.
So talk about that, Jeff. How'd you hook up with this guy?
Start. Let's back up a second, and I want to hear the answer to that. But just what is beer trading first? Because there may be people that don't quite understand the whole process yet, and then get into how you got into this.
Well, it basically so Brian knows Beaker Davis. So I mean he's traded with him before. So it's we just know him through the beer page. So that was actually the first person I ever traded with. So he's on the beer page.
The Facebook IPA Beyond IPAs and Beyond page. Yep.
Yes.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah. So that was probably the first real serious trade. But then back in November of last year, I had started a different Instagram page. I already had my original one, and I would post pictures of beer and things like that. And, people that I was friends with on there didn't really get the whole beer thing. So it's like, I wasn't getting any likes. I wasn't getting anywhere with that. It was just, for people to see. So I ended up starting another page called Mass Beer Guy, and just started following everything, all the people that would follow before. And it just starts with following different people that are in the same things that we're into. And there's so many out there. And then you just basically, if you see something you like from a brewery, you might say, in search of or something like that, or just, I would love to have that. And then just people would message you. And that's kind of how it started with RAF. I would post something from, say, Moonraker, or I think Moonraker might have been one of the first that he was sending out, and it would just be something I would wanted to get, and he was able to come through, and you just talk messaging, basically same as texting.
And it's all Instagram based for technologies.
That's really it. I mean, that's all it is. That's the only way I even talk to him is we haven't even exchanged phone numbers.
Yeah. But there's a beer trading section on Beer Advocate, right, where you can sort of a message board as well. I assume that's where people trade a beer. But this was just organic.
It just really,
Just
that's
kinda
really,
came up.
and it's, there's a lot of people that do it, and it's
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it just, one thing leads to another. You just in being from where we are, I mean, all the great beer that we have around here, people are looking for it also. So it kind of works out well that I have something to offer to get, some of the stuff that they have. So, it's worked out well. And I mean, you guys, like Brian's been able to enjoy some of it. So it's been a pretty good thing. It's been good. I mean, it really hasn't, everybody that I've dealt with has been really good.
So, you mentioned Beaker, and all four of us on here, we know the name, and I've talked to him in text and stuff. Great guy. I'm assuming these guys that you're meeting or you're hooking up with and communicating with through IG or Facebook or whatever, all good guys. They're looking for the same thing you're looking for, and Beaker's great because he's in the Rochester area, and so when we first connected with him, he was shipping some other half stuff, and other half is probably my favorite brewery. If I can say it definitely is my favorite brewery. I mean, they're making just great stuff and they do great stouts and stuff like that. So I think that was kind of your stepping off point, right, Jeff? And then your Instagram account, and then you started hooking up with, you can even throw the guys' names around, Raph, and I think little Stevie up in Portland.
So this guy Steve Milliken, he's up in he's like literally right in Portland. I mean, I've never been to Portland, so I don't know if, I know, obviously I know the breweries that are up there. So he basically just started by, he probably saw a post that I did, or it was probably a comment or something. That's kind of how it goes. And I had been following him for a while, and he basically sent, I have this, I can get this. Are you interested? And I'm like, heck yeah. It would be, whether it's like Flume 2, anything, Battery Steel, anything, obviously from all that area. Obviously Bissell Brothers, and it's just a lot of the really good stuff a lot of the stuff I haven't had.
A lot of Good Fire stuff.
Good Fire too. I mean, like recently I just got,
Mood.
Yeah, that was really good. So and he loves vitamin C, and he loves Long Live, and it's all this stuff. I mean, and again, these guys have other connections. So it's like, if it doesn't work out with me, he knows he's got another guy, or vice versa. So it's a cool community. I mean, believe it or not, it's like this. I don't know. I'm not calling it an underground community, but it's like it's just people. It's just people just know, and you just you just ask for it, and you just make a few connections, and that's really all you need.
Yeah. So is it always a trade, or do you always say, I want this, I can get you, these are the things I can get you right now, and then you kind of negotiate that way?
I think eventually it's just, once you have a relationship with the person, that they know what they're going to get from me. And again, they could be requesting something that comes out, or, they see, and it really goes, everybody's following the same brewery. So that, Steve is following Vitamin C and Long Live, so he sees what comes out. So he'll ask, hey, can you get me this? Yeah. And if I can, I do. And
yeah, you can shoot over. And grab some, and
they've all been pretty loyal, because if you're good, you get what they want. They're going to get what, they're going to, do the same for you.
And that's a good point too, right? Because it becomes a trust thing, right? If
Definitely.
you're delivering the good stuff and they're delivering the good stuff, they know they can trust you. And because that's the intrepidation I have is, shit, if I send this beer out,
Yeah.
am I going to get equal return back? And I don't know if you kind of keep that scale, if that's even something that beer traders look at. Are you looking at per can, cost, and am I getting the right trade value back? Because obviously, like Moonraker's expensive. That's expensive beer. Vitamin C is reasonable. It's $18
Yeah.
a 4-pack. Moonraker. So I'd be curious to hear your, kind of your approach to that as someone that's trading Jersey, trading California, trading Portland. How do you keep track of it all? And are you, from a financial perspective, how does it all kind of add up for you, or do you not pay that?
Yeah.
It's best not to add up the costs on this entire
Well, I
hobby,
know,
Brian.
I know, but to me that would be a thing in my head, and that's why I have intrepidation about doing it.
No, I definitely don't keep track of the cost, and it's pretty much an equal 1-for-1. It's usually like 8 cans for 8 cans, because that's what you can fit in this certain box. And there's no like worries about what it costs. There's been some guys where it's just been a one-time deal. Like they had something, for instance, Vitamin C did a collaboration with District 96. I think they're out of New Jersey. So it was Sea Snake was the beer. So I saw it. The guy, I think he was actually on a Facebook page, and he reached out and said, "Yeah, I can get it for you." And it just worked out where he wanted, stuff from here, and that was it. That's the only time I ever traded with him, and so that was a trust thing too. It's like you take the chance, and you have to take that chance, and then if it works out, you do it again, and like I said, so far it's been great, and it's definitely no complaints.
But I mean, is it really a chance though? I mean, it's maybe you sent him some vitamin C and you didn't get something back good in return, but if you're close to vitamin C and it's not that hard to get, it's just you wasted your time a little bit, maybe.
Well, that's it.
And it's not worth it. But yeah, you can't really. I don't know.
But to that point, Scott, I have heard some nightmare stories where, you may get some douchebags out there that Jeff's trusting that someone is shipping beer to him while he ships it out, and if that person doesn't do it, and it may not have happened to you, but I know it has happened.
It could.
Because I've seen some horror stories about some people saying, if anyone knows this person, so and so on Facebook, he screwed me, and I didn't get my shipment.
You're out $50. Yeah.
So I guess
Well, that's what I'm saying. I've been fortunate with all the trades I've made, and it's not even just the Instagram thing. It's like it's the the Facebook pages, meeting people through there. I mean, I have people that live behind me. I have my neighbors that are on, Beyond IPA's page, Tony and Bob. I mean, they're right there. They're, Tony flies to Chicago once in a while. It's like it brings back Hot Butcher. So it's like, it's doesn't even have to be worrying about sending anything anywhere. It just kind of like, it's a whole, I don't know, it just turns into a thing because it's just, there's other people out there than just, on Instagram too. You just kind of make all these, connections, and it could be just like 2 cans for 2 cans. It could be 1 for 1. It doesn't even really need to be,
Yeah. Well, you build up, good faith. You build up craft beer kind of equity, and it works, and it comes back, and there's no question because I've done the same. I've done local trading. I'll meet, I'll meet a guy from, out Western Mass, and he works in Braintree, and the guy on our page, David, I've met him before, and I've traded with him, and met another guy from another page, Mike, and I've traded with him. So I get it. Like, I'll do that. I just haven't dove in, head first into the actual, West Coast shipping of
once you
goods, I know.
Once you get in, it's like
and believe me, that's part of the reason why I don't want to do it, because I can't do anything in moderation. It could be all in or not.
Yeah.
We create a monster.
Yeah, believe me.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
Going back to the trust thing. So are you trusting in some of these guys like out in California and stuff? Are they the ones that are cluing you into like some of the newer breweries? Like you said, the Slice, they're a year old, right? Like, are you on the side actively searching out what the hot brewery is, or are you trusting in these guys to say, hey, Jeff, I got some stuff from this place. You're going to want to get it. If you can send me back X, Y, and Z.
Yeah.
Is that how you're kind of getting the lead into some of the newer stuff?
Well, that's a good question, because it with RAF in California, it started out with the breweries that I had heard of. like, Moonraker or Modern Times,
Yep.
the Alvarado, like the Contain No Juice. That was something I had, been, searching for a while. So he'd been able to get it. But then
Sure.
as you're making a few trades with him, he would, in the meantime, he's like, hey, I got this other stuff that's really good. I
Okay.
think you're going to like it. If you
Yeah.
like this, you like that, you're going to like, and again, that's where the slice comes in. The other one that he sends out, it's Casa Agria is another brewery out there that's new. It's probably, I've posted plenty of it on the Facebook page, things like that. And then again, like, he's doing the same thing with the stuff I'm giving him from, say, Vitamin C in Widowmaker, and he's like, wow, this stuff is out there is really good, and he's posting it all the time. So what he's doing is he's got his page, he's posting all those beers in his page, he's tagging Vitamin C, he's getting likes from Vitamin C, he's getting thanks and all that, so it's like he's doing the favor for him too. He's enjoying it just as much as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
exactly. It's how it spreads the word, right? Like I was always a little curious, like, guys are talking like even some of the beers that you post, right? You see this brewery, and I'm like, I've never even heard of this place.
Yeah.
Now, how the hell does he even know that this exists? But
hey, feel free to ask questions on there, and if you say, hey, who's
and then people,
I don't always, I'm not always like, I don't explain it as much as I should. I just, but yeah.
What's your name there on Instagram so people can?
Mass Beer Guy,
Mass Beer Guy.
MASS.
Okay.
Yep, pretty. Yeah. I don't know. I just made it up. Actually, I did it one day standing in line at Vitamin C, just waiting for them to open. I don't know what release it was doing, and I think there was another guy in line that I was friends with on my other Instagram page called New England Beer Guy. And I recognized his face because he puts his face on it. Like I don't put my face on. So I go, hey, New England Beer Guy. He's like, oh, hey, what's up? And so we started talking, and it just kind of gave me the idea of like, let me just start my own, like just a separate page where it's just beer only. And then
funny because you gave me the idea, and that's why I went with the Plymouth County Beer Dude.
Yeah,
I'm like, just make it more beer associated and kind of like,
but it kind of
people
shows
that follow.
Yeah.
And then because I'll do that too. I'll look to see who's commenting on your posts, and then I'll be like, oh, I'm going to follow that guy and that guy.
Yeah.
And that's how it works organically. Like, and people like, Raph's following your posts.
Mm-hmm.
He may see me, and now all of a sudden he's following me. So it is amazing the power of social media and how it spreads like that. It's pretty cool.
Well, that's interesting too, because like to your point, Jeff, earlier, like on your regular Instagram, when you're posting that stuff, it's kind of getting lost in the shuffle of, some of the people are beer people, some aren't. And then even some of the way that the technology works, the more that you interact in a given like set space and have interaction back and forth, the more likely it is that your shit's going to start to show up more and spread, right? Like you start to be seen as an influencer, right? In
a small way, sure.
Pretty big way,
not
Jeff.
not even like in like the I'm an influencer, but like
purely
on the technology side. Like the more relevance your stuff has, the more the technology is going to put it in the hands of people that it thinks want to see that information. So like if you're posting stuff about beer and you got all these breweries and all these other beer people liking it, and you're having all this, communication back and forth, it's going to then spread that out further. Like that's how this stuff works.
It does. So you're right.
So it's interesting. So if you're interested in doing something like this and really getting traction and being able to follow people and get interaction with people, it may be worthwhile creating a separate on Facebook. It's different because you can be in a group or a private group or a page. On Instagram, it's all or nothing. So you can't be in a private Instagram group. So create a separate Instagram account and then just have that be all beer, follow everything you can, all the brewers you want to follow and go at it. That's interesting.
It definitely gets traction because I will say,
I'm sure it does.
Like if I'm, if someone's looking at Plymouth County Beer Dude or Mass Beer Guy and they just see a regular name, I'm probably not gonna tap on that guy and say follow. But if it says someone like, someone like, Hot Buster or something like that, I'm gonna look at his pictures. I'm gonna look at his pictures and say, oh shit, there's beer. I'm gonna follow him, because he might be posting something that I wanna look at or I wanna see.
There's another one out there too. It's interesting name called Hoppy Floppy. Might want to follow that one.
Creativity's good.
Maybe not.
I don't know. Only if you have your own, yeah. But it's it's good too because the whole hashtag thing comes in, comes into play when because there's a whole you can follow hashtags. You can follow hashtag hazy IPA, hashtag juicy IPA, and then you see all the stuff from there. And then the other thing that some of the guys do too is like Brian, I've tagged you on a few of them where it's a giveaway. Guys are giving away whatever wherever they're from. Like 1,000 followers. Like for instance, I think I'm close to hitting 400 followers soon, so I'll probably do a giveaway. So I've done one giveaway once so far. When I think it was 150, and so one of the guy that won is someone who I trade with now still. Like occasionally here and there, like this is how cool the guy was. Like I sent him his beer. He's like, "Hey, I really appreciate it. This is great." He's like, "What do you like? I'm going to send you something." So it was basically turned into a trade. He won what I was giving away, and he ended up sending me some stuff back, and we did a couple other trades since then. And he was on the other night when I did the live with Raph, and
yeah, that was fun.
He commented a couple of times. So I mean, that was another organic thing. That was that was the first time he probably saw my face. I mean, I've seen his face before. So, it's kind of a cool thing too to kind of talk to somebody in a way, that you've been, that I've been trading with, and it's been good.
So you got to get your face on the internet more, Jeff.
Yeah, I think
you're a handsome man.
Oh, sure. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey, so let's talk about this because I always find anytime that you swing by and drop off beers or we trade or whatever, I'd say you're pulling your hair out, but it looks like you've already pulled that out.
Yeah, it's gone.
But how do you keep track? Like, because if you have 3 or 4 trades kind of that you're building inventory for, you got to do this here. You got your buddies in the backyard that you're trading with.
Mm-hmm.
You got me that's always bugging you for beers. How do you because it can be stressful. Like you've said it before. It's almost like kind of like a full-time job as far as I got to get here. I got to go there. I got to get to Longwood. I got to pick up this beer for little Stevie. I got to pick up Raph wants this vitamin C. I always say it too. I said, you're stressing me out just talking about it. Like I don't know even how to process it.
It happens a few times where there's a few trades going on at once and it hasn't happened in a while, but when it does happen, yes, it does get a little, because you don't want to like forget something. You don't want to like, oh crap, I forgot. If you tell somebody you're going to give them something, you want to come through, and because so far so good. But what I do in my beer fridge is I have the 2, the drawers at the bottom, whatever, the vegetable drawers. So I'll put like, if it's something I'm going to put aside to trade for somebody, I put those beers in those drawers. So I know I'm,
don't touch those.
Not going to deal with those. Those are put away. Like, like right now I got something I got to send for Fitzy. So his are in the bottom left drawer. And then, I just got to, when I'm ready to do it, I just, get it out and ready to go. And it's just kind of become like a hobby or just I don't know.
It's a familiar thing, right?
Yeah.
Once you become familiar with it, and
it is right.
Getting comfortable.
Yeah, you do it once you get the routine down. Sure.
Yeah, it's fun too because again, it is the chase of something like. I've been able to try a lot of different beers that I've seen, like, again, being on Instagram, being the newbie on Instagram and following these people and seeing these beers and seeing how many times they've been posted. Like, oh, wow, I'd really like to try that one or this, whether it's Moonraker or Modern Times or Alvarado Street, it's like, then finally, like, being able to get them, like, this is great. And then, sometimes it's like, I wish it was a little bit better. Or sometimes it's like, wow, this really is as good as I thought it would be. So it's a little bit of satisfaction there.
So what's your thought? So obviously being, Southeastern Massachusetts, right? And the brewery here, like that's another reason why I really haven't jumped into it because, there are some beers out there that I know about and I would love to get, but I just look at what we're able to get here. whether it's, breweries that we didn't see before because of COVID and now they're coming here, or it's just the liquid gold that we're seeing, whether it's Widowmaker, Vitamin C, Second Wind. I mean, Second Wind is knocking it out. Untold. These guys, are just crushing it. So I'm like, I have enough beer in my fridge just from local breweries. Like I'm okay. Like I don't need to, to get trades. But talk a little bit about that too, because I mean, I remember you telling me a story one time about Great Notion. Like you had some Great Notion, but you got it from a guy down in Jersey. You didn't get it from a guy out in Portland, right? You got it from a guy in Jersey who probably got it from a trade from a guy out in Portland. Like that's how it works. It's kind of a network. But I just, it's very hard for me to say, let's start trading, especially when I know I'm getting beer here just as good or better.
You just don't want to give up anything in your fridge. Who are you kidding?
I don't mind, Scott. I don't mind that. I don't mind giving it up. It is fast, but it's hard.
Yeah, but he doesn't mind some of the stuff he's getting. Like if I throw him a can here or there from somewhere, whether it's from Weldworks or from, something from Portland, don't let him fool you. He enjoys it.
Oh, he doesn't fool anybody.
Yeah, but it's what you're saying though. It's true, and there is a ton of great beer around here, and I'm people are asking for it, so it kind of works that way too. But obviously, I could stop trading today, and there's plenty of great beer around here. I wouldn't, and there's plenty of it in my fridge too. So it's not a lack of getting it. And these days Vitamin C is been one of the easier places to go to, for the whole walk up thing, and they're open at 12 o'clock and things like that. So it makes it easier.
Well, it's great. Vitamin C, like, and we've talked about it, like I'd say even 8 months ago, right? Vitamin C used to sell out all the time. Right?
You couldn't get it. Yeah,
couldn't get it. Like you'd have to wait in line. The tap room was open, and maybe a little bit different. Maybe that's the answer. But now I think they're brewing more, right? So that's great, right? They're open more days, and now they have 5 or 6 beers every single weekend, right? So they're not selling out as fast. So it is, to your point, it's easy to get into, and it's good, and people want it, so it's easy to trade too. So I hear
and they're open an extra day, and you don't have to. If something gets released that day, you don't have to go get it because they're making a night where it's available. If something was released on Saturday, it's going to be available on the following Thursday. So it's no stress of trying to get there and get it.
Yeah, I don't like taking chances and like going and waiting in line and getting shut out. Like, there's nothing worse than that, right? But now I know I can go there and get what I expect. And
it's funny too. That's a good point, Scott, because it's like I think times have changed now because of this damn COVID that. You're not really getting. I think the chances of getting shut out are gone, right? Because a lot of brewers you order online and you pick it up. Like Trillium,
it's great.
So you
Tilted
can
Barn
hold
does
it.
that too, right?
Tilted Barn, right? You're right. And Long Live, you can order it online. And
guaranteed.
And
it's waiting for you.
Guaranteed, and that's hugely important, especially for a trader. I can imagine because you're going to get what you need to trade, and so. At different times, I guess, even from like a year ago, it's certainly a lot different.
Yeah.
Jeff, how far would you go? How far would you drive if someone said they wanted
Treehouse,
or even how far would you go to get?
No, I know where you're going, and I'm upfront with people when they ask for things, and I tell them that Treehouse is a little bit out of the way for me. I start off the bat by saying Vitamin C, Long Live. I'll put Widowmaker in there. I'll put Trillium in there. Again, it is what I can get. I mean, I have to be honest with them, and I do get Treehouse through other trades. So it's like sometimes I'm trading. It is a vicious circle sometimes where I'm getting. If I'm getting something from Portland and I'm gonna, like I've sent Raph, Swish. He's never had Swish before, so he loves it when if he's able to get that. But I mean, for the most part, people have been pretty good about it. I mean, it's not like people aren't saying get me some, King Julius, get me some Very Green. They're not that specific,
Yeah.
Thinking too,
on
like
things like that.
would you drive down to Fox Farm to grab some beer to trade? I mean, it's great beer, right? It's phenomenal beer, but it's probably just a little bit too far to go to kind of.
It's far. I have traded some Fox Farm just because I probably got it in a trade from somebody else. Again, it's like if I have it,
You'll do it,
so
right.
put it this way: if like for instance, recently, someone on the Beyond IPA Facebook page, Dave Martin,
Yeah.
he asked me if I want anything from Hill Farmstead. I'm like, Hill Farmstead, yeah, all right.
Okay.
So I asked for 2 4-packs. I'm like, hey, whatever you can do. It's like no stress. At least one. If you can get me 2, because I'm always thinking, all right, if I get 2 4-packs, I keep a couple of cans, I can trade the rest. So that's what I did. So he got me 2 4-packs. And, so things like that will happen. Like if somebody's going to Fox Farm and they ask me if I want anything, even if I just get a 4-pack, if I can just keep 2 cans to myself and I know I have 2 cans for trade bait, really, it's kind of what it is, and which I have done.
Scott, that is the different mindset right there.
Well,
It's like,
I was going to bring this up.
It's so interesting. It's so interesting because when you get to beer, it's a matter of, all right, I'll put this aside. I'm going to get an extra 4-pack for trading. I don't think like
if
that.
it was in your fridge, you would never let it go. I have Hill Farmstead. It's mine. Like Gollum with the ring, right? My
precious. I mean, even the same thing with Swish and like I knew I was getting this 4-pack, and I was making a trade with Fitzy, and I know he loves Swish, so I got a can for him, and I got a can for another guy that I'm trading. So I'm only keeping 2 cans out of the 4. I mean, it's bad to say, but I've kind of had quite a bit of it lately. So it's good, but obviously
embarrassment of riches. Embarrassment.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So, but
it's even like Flume 2. Like the fact that we're now getting Flume 2 in the store, and
right.
Believe me, Scott, you make fun of me. It is one of my top 10 beers.
No,
I love that beer, and so, but now it's like, and this is, and I'd love to hear your thought on this, Jeff, too, because it's all of a sudden a lot of hunts, for that white whale are ending because
they are.
You're getting it more. Like Swish used to be up on a pedestal, like, with the glowing arches around it, but now you're trading, you're getting it more. They're releasing it more. Flume 2, crazy good. We're seeing it on retail stores in Massachusetts. So it is like that hunt, and you said it earlier. It's like there's beers that like Ghost in the Machine. I would, if someone came to me and said, "I will trade you a 6-pack of Ghost in the Machine," yeah, I'm gonna find a way to get it, and I just would, because that's my white whale.
Well, it's funny you say that. I might have a lead on that.
Ooh.
Whoa. Dude.
So hey, I'll keep you in mind.
Yes,
I'll buy it off you, Jeff.
Hey,
just so I can hold it over his head.
keep it in your fridge.
I'm just gonna crack it in front of him. Oh, Brian! Oh my God, it's so good.
I
don't like it though. I'm gonna throw it away.
It might actually be the double dry hop version too.
Oh.
Let me go on mute for a second.
$100. $100, Jeff. $100 for that can.
No, it's but you say that, and there are some crazy prices. Like I saw someone say it was $11 a can, and this isn't the person I would get it from, but someone had told me people are selling that stuff for like $11 a can, which is a little crazy.
Selling it though, like that's a whole nother thing. Like that's.
Talked about this last week, guys. The 450s, the slushies.
Yeah.
450.
Yeah.
I'm not that extreme.
Guy on another craft beer page, he's selling them for like $14 a can.
Yeah.
What are you gonna make? You gotta make $30 at the end of it. Like, come on.
Well, I told you guys. I told you he posts pictures. He's got. I don't even know how 30 cases of it.
Well, that's different. But that's highly illegal too. So
I don't know how he's doing it. That's a whole other conversation. Yeah. But those cans were going. He was selling for $14 again, and it seemed like he was moving them. I'm like, "You're gonna be kidding me."
Yeah, I haven't gotten there yet. I can't imagine that, like, doing something like that.
It's almost like he's trying to make $1. Make money on it.
He is
exactly.
He is.
Right.
Yeah.
Whether he knows someone at the brewery and he's driving out there and getting it, whatever it may be. but that just shows you the extremes that you could go to. Like
Yeah.
it's unbelievable. The craft beer frenzy is real,
Well,
and there's no doubt about it.
Go on to eBay and just, type in Treehouse or type in, name your brewery, and you'll find 4-packs for some seriously expensive prices.
And people will pay it because they want that picture, and the social
Probably
currency that brings with it, and that's terrible. It's not
guys
what we're
like me
about.
that want to post on Beyond IPAs and they're
That page has
fancy.
a lot of
Well, that's a huge
that
page.
page has a lot of
worldwide.
cachet, Jeff.
It's huge in Belgium.
the fancy beers from California.
Yeah, it's getting a lot of cachet page.
So we've kind of talked, like, if you go back and listen to all the beers we've kind of mentioned, they're pretty much all the trade. It seems like a lot of the trading revolves around hazy, juicy beers, which is the beer du jour, and that's perfect. So then my question then goes to freshness. So, these beers are meant to be like in ice.
Yeah.
The way, if you listen to what the breweries say, this should never see the light of day until it touches your
that's a
mouth
good
type
point.
thing.
Yeah.
So you're shipping beers across the country from California, concerns about freshness, anything you're doing to kind of try to keep it as fresh as possible. What kind of things are you looking at there?
Well, it definitely, the fresher the better. I've literally gone to a brewery, been in the parking lot and like putting a beer that I just bought, in a box, for a guy to send. I've done it to that extreme, and then I've also like been on the other end of where a guy would ask if I wanted these certain beers. He would send me a picture, and I'll say, yeah, okay, I'll take them. But then the dates would be, when I'd get them, they'd be a little bit on the old side.
Sure.
But to that guy's defense, they still tasted good. So it's like I'm probably really only gonna complain if they didn't taste good, if they were bad.
I wonder if you got the full experience, did it actually taste better, right? You're right, earlier, you wonder.
I mean, as you know, most of these, hazy IPAs these days are fine, 2-3 weeks, a month later,
Sure.
they're still good. I mean, this stuff here from Cali that we're doing is the middle of November, and I think it's still really good. I mean,
wow.
The one I have.
What's yours, Dan? What's the Alvarado?
Mine's 11/19.
Mine's 11/24. I would have never in a million years guessed that was a November beer.
Yeah, because this one's 11/19 as well. And I will, Jeff, this Farm Fresh is ridiculous.
Yeah, I got a 10-1, and it was.
Yeah,
as soon as I cracked it, I was like, oh my god, there's hops. Yeah.
And that's part of my small problem too, is I have so many different beers that a lot of them do end up sitting, not for the lack of not wanting to have them, but it's just like there's so many others that that are right along the line with them that I need to drink also. So it's try to drink the oldest,
I think you're right, Dan, though. I mean, there are some breweries, like I think Equilibrium. I've heard, and I think Hoppy, Raf on his Hoppy Urban Division IG page the other. I mean, that's a crazy name for an IG page, but anyway. They talked about Equilibrium beers not really holding up, and they're best when you drink them 2 weeks. But vitamin C, we know firsthand that it holds up for a month and a half, 2 months, like really well, like it really does. So it is interesting because Dan, that's a great question, because I thought of that too. It's like, you get a beer, most brewers are going to tell you drink it fresh, right? They go, most brewers are going to say it's going to be the best after 1 week, after one can.
It's the time and it's the temperature too, right? Like if you're shipping beer across the country, it's not in a refrigerator. I mean, if it ends up in a truck that drives across the desert and it's 1,000 degrees in the truck,
that's what I would worry
not going to taste the same, right? Like that. I mean, if you're shipping it cross country, you're minimizing that. It's probably ending up on a plane and that kind of stuff. Especially if you ship it if it gets there within a couple days. But that's the concern. The concerns, even if you only compound the issue if it's an old beer to start and then it goes. But if you're dropping a fresh beer and it goes, you're not. It's most likely not the same beer based on age, less age, more temperature. Because and
it's not getting exposed to light, so
but like Jeff, beer, like you know when you get a bad beer, like your experience with this, like you've never had one that's you're like, all right.
I mean, honestly, I really haven't.
It gets there pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
So
well,
exactly.
I mean, recently I had something that was delayed a few weeks, probably like 2 weeks, and I mean, I cracked one that day and it was good.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
totally fine.
Right. And I will say it's good as far as you know, right? Because
Right. I don't know.
maybe it was better, right? You don't know.
Exactly.
But you don't know.
Because
It's the first time
that-
you've had it.
That package
Exactly.
was sitting in a warehouse somewhere for 2 weeks, like
Right.
not in a refrigerator. Now
That's
maybe
true.
maybe it was in the north and it was cold and it was fine. Like you never know,
Could
but
have been in
think it-
Arizona
yeah.
or Texas. Who knows?
I think it was sitting in Providence for a while. It came from Portland and blew right past me and sat in Providence for a couple of weeks.
With
I don't know
tracking
why.
numbers, you can figure it out now, right?
Yeah, right.
it's true.
Yeah.
It's a great conversation, though. I think it's. I'm almost to the point where some of the stuff that Beaker sent me, I'm saving the boxes, I'm saving the paper, like, because it's a process. You got to go buy bubble wrap. Oh,
Yeah.
pack it. You got to
Go
bring
to
it to the,
Staples. Yeah.
bring it to wherever you're gonna.
Well, yeah. I mean, I do reuse some of the stuff, and you learn as you go. There's little tricks that you can do, like you go into the post office and they have the big envelopes that are padded already that have the tape, like the big white, like, it's like the size of a manila envelope. You can fit 2 cans in there. Like those are free. You walk into the post office, you take as many as you want if they have them, and I use those. So one guy I traded with, he's like, go online and you can get different boxes that for different shipping areas that cost less money to send. So I did that. And so anything that's within my region of the Northeast, I can save myself,
Sure.
$7. It's there's different, there's things you can find out as you go. It's a learning process.
What's the typical shipment? Like a couple beers, 8, you mentioned 8 beers, 8
is usually the minimum.
2 4-packs. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. So, but the new boxes that I had found, I could squeeze 11 in there.
Nice.
It helps in the overall shipping charge, because
it's way
well, that's
heavy. Yeah.
And that's the thing. It's like that's the smallest kind of box I can find. So it's like I usually, if I'm going to use that box, I might as well put in as much as I can, and that's the max you can get into that type box. And
that's a good question. That's a good action. So if you're going to ship 11, are you looking for 11 back? Is that kind of the?
I have, or maybe you could do. I think I may have done like like to Portland, I sent two 4-packs. I sent them a glass. You could put a glass in there. Done that before. I've gotten.
Ooh, glassware trades, Brian. Oh my God.
I've gotten some glasses. Yeah, I've gotten. Rafa sent me a couple glasses so I can do the hashtag glass match. You've seen them.
Love it.
Next level stuff. Nice.
It is.
There it is.
Scott, if I jumped into this, let me see.
Oh, I'm gonna drag you into it just for entertainment value.
Wants his wife.
You're gonna do a glass podcast.
Well, yeah.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea, actually. Yeah.
We need our listeners, Jeff. We need our listeners to give us ideas.
Yep.
What do people want to hear? No, this is good stuff, Jeff. I think people are, I don't. In our world, in our remote world, our immediate world, I guess, Scott, I don't know if you know too many traders. Dan, I don't know if you know it. I mean, even on the Facebook page, people ask about it here and there. Like, I don't think we have too many traders really on the page.
No.
One or two. So it is amazing. But there is a world out there that people. I mean, Beaker lives by it. Like he trades
he does
a ton. So I think it's a fascinating thing. I really do. And
let me ask you this, Jeff. Like what's the perception from your West Coast contacts? Do they only look at beer advocate numbers and untapped numbers? Do they understand that like Widowmaker is at their level, or do they just know the hype based on the internet? I imagine they do, right? But like, what do you sense from that?
So the main trader I've done in California, he wasn't on Untapped until recently. Like he's like, I have the app, but you're on there, I'll get on there. So now he's on there. So I don't really know I think because he actually used to live out here. He spent some time out here. So he's before the vitamin C time, but he knows of Trillium and Treehouse. So he knows what's out here. But when you mention like say Widowmaker and how it may not get the respect that a lot of the other breweries do. But I
I
have
imagine
given,
like everyone's like, oh, I give me tree. I need Treehouse. I need
Right.
Trillium. And
But I think that's
you
where the
know that
trust comes in
there's,
too.
but I try to
Yeah.
offer, like, I'll definitely, I will offer, like, different stuff that someone might not have heard of. And, because maybe they did a collaboration with somebody or whatever. And that person may say, yeah, great. Or they'll say, I've had this stuff before and I didn't like it. So so you never know. I mean, but at least
Jeff,
I'll ask.
Jeff, didn't you, I think you told me this, and I don't know where, but didn't you send Flyaway to someone and they loved it? Like Shoveltown?
I've done, yeah, I've done the
And
triple.
rightfully so, they should, but,
yeah.
but
I think I did Flyaway. I did Widowmaker. I did Ecstasy of Gold. So that was the guy that won the giveaway that I did.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I think I put that in there, and he, so his comment was, he's on Untapped, and he would be, wow, this thing gets a really low rating. He was like, I don't typically rate beer. I just post it on there and that's it. He goes, but I see how low it's getting, and this is a great beer. It's like, it's not right that it's not getting,
Sure.
the proper rating. So I think he gave it a 5, just to kind of boost
Yeah.
up. So,
boosted.
and he really liked it, and he,
Yeah.
so it's like, it was cool to see a guy that really knew his beer. And I think he's in Jersey, and so he's had a lot of really good stuff. And he enjoyed some of the, some of the smaller breweries that were around here, the lesser known, so they're getting out there.
Well, because I always wonder about the perspective of like our perspective on West Coast breweries, and I'll think, okay, well, Stone and Russian River are
right
the only ones that matter. When there's probably a lot of really great breweries I just have never heard of.
There really
right?
are.
There really, of course, there are, and I wouldn't know what to ask for, So
yeah,
probably the same thing coming the other way. So it's
Instagram, baby.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I know.
I was going to say too, because I think Jeff, you touched on it earlier too. It takes time to do some research, right? Whether you're following a brewery, whether you're following an Instagram account where they're posting the beers, and then like I'll do it. I'll see, and I know Untapped is not the Bible, but it certainly gives you an indication if you scroll through some ratings and you see consistently over 4. You have a feeling you're going to get a good beer.
Yeah.
But it does, Scott, to your point, and Jeff, I know you do your due diligence. There's a lot of work that goes into this. It's not just, let's just grab, 4-pack from Second Wind, a 4-pack from Widowmaker, a 4-pack from Vitamin C, and ship it out and hope for the best. I mean, there's some stuff, and I think you said it earlier too. It goes with trust, right? So if you're sending Second Wind correlation, which you should, because I think that needs to get out there more, and a Widowmaker, Ecstasy of Gold, and they like it. You kind of know in your head, you go, oh, he likes that, so I can look for more that are like that, right? I mean, and so that's where that trust thing comes into play. The more you trade with probably a certain guy or whatever it may be. So
yeah, you find out what they like. Like Raph loves his stouts, so I actually hooked him up with Beaker. So those guys actually did some trades. Like Beaker would send him some other half and some Mortellus bottles, and then vice versa. Like I think Raph sent him some Modern Times stouts. So it's worked out well. Just being the middleman, you know what I mean? Kind of
the soul network,
the connector, the love connection.
It's the craft network. It's amazing. And I think mostly, like, we talked about it earlier, and believe me, it's not happening a lot, but I think most of the guys that are doing trading are reliable and trustworthy. They're looking for the same thing you are, and I think you can, if you get burnt, you get burnt. But I think it's few and far between.
You get exposed pretty quickly if you're.
Well, that's the thing.
If you're
get shut down.
You do it once.
Yeah, you get shut down.
It's social media, so if you can just probably say shit about the guy if you want. But luckily, it's knock on wood. I haven't had any issues so far, and we'll see how it goes.
So you had an Instagram with Raph. That was fascinating.
Yeah, you were on there, right? Yeah,
I was. Yeah,
I was that as
a viewer. I've seen a lot of bad Instagram live events, and I didn't put much stock into it. But you guys were awesome. Like it's difficult to to have a conversation with somebody online, right? So you're missing all the cues, and then other people are chiming in,
Right.
and they're scrolling pretty quickly. So you got to kind of keep track of them while you're also trying to have a conversation, while you're also drinking many double IPAs,
Big,
right?
big
Right.
ones.
Right. Like, good Lord, that's gymnastics for the brain. And you
Right.
guys pulled it off. Like it's not easy. Like, so good for you.
I
That was,
think we had a triple IPA that night, as a matter of fact.
yeah.
So that's a good thought, Scott, because I was on that as well, and I was peppering you with comments and questions.
Yeah.
So does Raph? Now that I follow Raph on IG, he does that a lot with a lot of his traders. I think
He does.
He was on the other night, and I joined in just to say
Yeah.
hi, and he's kind of gotten to used to my name now, so he
Yeah.
gave me a shout out or whatever.
Yep.
But is his intent to build that up? Because the ones that I've been on, there's been like 6 or 7 listeners or 3 listeners. Like the other night, it was just me and 2 other guys that were listening on. Scott, to your point, it's good conversation. Raph knows his stuff. It's good conversation. What's the thought there? Like, you could get on there and build your listeners up and be we think about it all the time about how do we go next level with the podcast? Do we do an IG? Do we do a Facebook Live? Do we do something like that? Is his intent to build that up? Jeff, did he say anything about that?
I'm not sure what his intent is,
Yeah.
but I know he's been doing it for a while. I've watched some of them. I'd have to be up late because he's West Coast.
Yeah.
But he's got he typically will do, like, he started a series where he would do like a stout series. He would, and I think he tries to do, with somebody that he's traded with, where they each have the same beer, kind of similar to what we did the other night, and talk about what they're drinking. But I know what you're saying, like, when you look up and see who's viewing, and it doesn't seem like there's a lot viewing, but then you see all these people commenting in, so it seems more than it really is. So I'm not sure. That's the first time I had ever done one.
Yeah. But it's a new way of communicating and broadcasting.
is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's the future, and it's tricky. And
I've seen brewers do it. I mean, I've seen seen some of the guys that do the brewing go on there and do it.
Yeah, and I've seen like really great brewers, and
Right.
and it doesn't come off very well, right? And it's not their fault. Like it's just a difficult thing to pull off.
Can be clunky.
It's clunky,
I mean,
but
it wouldn't be a bad thing for guys like us to do, say, like, just to talk about a specific beer or talk about. It's almost like doing what we're doing now, but say do it on there, just basically having a conversation about beer and just talking about, whatever's going on at the moment.
We may have to look into that.
Yep.
Yeah, it was pretty smooth. I mean, I did it on my phone, so I followed his lead. He did it.
He knew what he was doing. He's done this before. Yeah.
That's cool. Oh, that's cool. So Jeff, you got to get you more into the stout game here. Raph's big into stouts, beakers. I know you said recently you started. Will you get someone like? Will you get like? You said some Raph. You knew Raph was into stouts, so you'll go out and trade some stouts. But have you shipped bottles? Have you done that yet? Or
I sent Beaker some bottles. So what happened was, I can't remember where I got them from. But I know what it was. Beaker was looking for like a Trillium release for some stouts bottles. So I sent him. That's the first time I ever sent bottles, and I was nervous, and he got them. They were fine. But if I'm trading with somebody and they like say like Steve up in Portland, he had Bissell, and I don't know whatever their stout is, their line that they do, series, whatever. It's a bottle stout. It's like got Roman numeral numbers, and I would take it. Most of the time I would take some of that stuff knowing that I know people that want it, and I would give it to them, like say Tony or Bob and my neighbors, or you, or like the Great Notion, the double stack, so it's like, if I know people that want something and I can get it, I'll get it. It's cool.
So you'll just jump on a beer that you're like, all right, I know this is going to be hot.
Exactly.
I know this is worth something. Yeah.
If I know it's something that's really good, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whether I'm going to use it to trade with somebody else or just give it.
Worst case, you have to drink it. Oh my God.
Well, that wouldn't be the word.
It's terrible.
Yeah, you'll get through it. You'll get through it.
Drinking away my profits.
No, it's
too funny.
Yeah.
Well, it's good conversation. I'm I'm close. I'm close to doing it.
Oh, that's my New Year's resolution
Happening
in
to get
2021
me to trade.
to get Brian into trading and watch and
fall apart.
just it's like watch him just spin into a spiral
No, it's
of
yeah.
I know. And I'll probably benefit. You'll probably be throwing me some beers, so
Yeah.
there's that too.
So what do you guys do? You guys meet up like somewhere? Like, do you guys all live near each other, or as far as like getting each other beer? Because I see you guys staying.
And Scott and Dan live across the street from each other.
Yeah,
so.
we live across the street from each other.
Oh, all
It's
right.
easy
Okay.
if I'm going to go drop beers off, and they're going to drop beers off. It certainly is easy. Makes it easier.
Yeah.
Definitely makes it easier.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
where-
but we
I don't-
definitely we communicate. I mean, we have our own little beer trading operation going,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
If I'm heading out to Vitamin C, I'll say, "Hey, I'm going." Like, you know, what do you want? Danny
Right.
works near Trillium, so you know, it
just
works out well
happens
for us.
organically,
And,
right?
yeah, and I guess the whole beer trading thing, you just when you involve the mail, you're just
Yeah.
expanding your reach, and now you can get to the
Right.
West Coast. And
Right.
Sure.
to
But I
me,
do the same
it's-
thing, you know.
Yeah.
If I'm going somewhere and I know someone who might be interested, I'll ask, and vice versa. It works the same, you know. Like it happens all the time. That's what's great about it, you know.
Yeah,
If you
it
can't
is.
get there and get it, someone else maybe can.
That's that. You're right, and it's there's lots of beers like Vitamin C come out with something that, and I'm like, if I had the time, I'd love to go grab it, but I just don't because it's going to be gone in a couple days, and that's a shame. But you know, if somebody like you can has it and can get it, like it works for everybody. You know,
It does, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And the brewery's fine with it. There's, you know.
Oh yeah, they love it. Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Any other tips for newbies that want to get into the beer trading game? Like, first of all, they gotta go on your Instagram page and follow you because you're the master. So
Yeah.
If they
there.
want to follow me, that's fine. Mass Beer Guy on
Mass
Instagram.
Beer.
That's
All right.
cool.
So watch Jeff, see what he's up to, and then
I'll
when
see
you get
what's
something
hot.
good, contact Jeff and say,
Yeah.
hey. And Brian's going to be in the beer trading game soon, so talk to Plymouth County Beer Dude and offer him up good beers. And see, this is how this is going to work, right? And then he can't say no. This thank you, listeners, for
Maybe
my
I'll have
Christmas gift.
maybe I'll have a giveaway pretty soon.
Giveaway.
There we go. Giveaway. Sign up
Right.
for it. Just all you
Tag
can
you,
do
I'll
is
tag
tag
you.
someone else. Yep.
Nice.
Although
No.
if I don't win it, I thought his first giveaway was shady because I didn't win it. I don't know how I didn't win that.
You should have won. Next time,
have
start
won.
your own giveaway, and then make yourself the winner.
I'm gonna sign
Yeah.
myself up.
So yeah, no, I appreciate you guys having me on. It was a good time.
No,
Yeah,
it's a
no.
great conversation,
Yeah,
Jeff. It
thanks
really
for
is.
coming.
It's a lot of work. I know you. You know, I benefit from it, so I thank you for it. It's crazy, man.
It's a fascinating game. It's at the intersection of commerce and social networks.
Yeah.
And just beer lovers.
Yeah.
And it's a fascinating subset of this, I don't know, quote unquote hobby that we do. This whatever you want to call it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's there's all different things out there. There's different types of things you can follow on Instagram or whatever. I mean,
Yeah.
I think you guys are all on there, so I mean, you could just hashtag anything and you'll find it.
Yeah.
Or,
Yep.
I will say,
It's there.
appreciate the farm fresh. This thing was crazy good.
Yeah, thank you for the beer.
Slice and hop.
Yeah.
welcome.
Thanks for the beers, Jeff, for sure.
That was really good beer. So,
All
right, my man.
glad. All right,
Thank
take
you,
it
Jeff.
easy.
your
All
time.
right.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Listeners, go get some.
Go get some.
Go get some in 2021.